How about them Cowboys? Angry Cowboys fan. Born to battle. Start just means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. When the sun shines bright, that's where we win. Angry Cowboys fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. And ever since the interview between Micah Parsons and the Mohr Stories podcast, Cowboys fans have once again found themselves on opposite sides of the argument on social media. On the Mohr Stories podcast, Jay Mohr interviews Micah Parsons for about an hour. During said interview, Jay asked Micah Parsons about the contract disputes and his obvious trade to the Green Bay Packers. During the interview, you get to hear Micah Parsons' side of the fallout and eventual trade from the Dallas Cowboys. Well, Cowboys Nation, this video is going to be a special video because it's going to have 4 clips in it. So we're going to take a listen to the 4 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to the first clip between Jay Mohr and Micah Parsons that has some Cowboys fans up in arms.
I'm flying back from Dubai, and I get a call from his assistant saying, hey, Jerry wants to meet with you. So at this point, I'm just thinking like any other, like, oh, shoot, like, because me and Jerry would talk before. Like, we went to games together. Like, he would treat me just like
you're like
one of his favorite players.
Micah.
Yeah, for real. We talked about anything, So I go into his office, and he tells me that I'm the future of his team. And
kiss of death right there.
I'm like, cool. That's where I want to be. He's telling me his expectations of me and what he wants from me, and cool, great. I can do all those things. I want to do those things because I want to win the championship. And, he goes, but you need to do a team-friendly deal. And I was just like, I worked for this. Like, I won't bust open the cap. Like, I don't got to be, like, by this big margin. But I do want to be the highest paid. Like, I don't care about how much. Like, I want to be the highest paid player at my position.
All right, Cowboys Nation, this is what he said. Jerry and I talked before. We would go to games together. We would talk about anything. Jerry used to treat him like a son. He was going to be the future of the Dallas Cowboys. Sounds to me like things got personal than what's led on, Cowboys Nation. I do get Micah Parsons' pain after Jerry Jones told him about taking a team-friendly deal. His exact words, I worked for this, and he is absolutely right. Blood, sweat, and tears on that damn field. He worked for it. He worked his ass off for it, to be exact. But let's go ahead and jump into the second clip so we can come back and talk about it. Go ahead, roll that clip.
So we actually sent a letter to Jerry Jones, me and my agent, a heartfelt letter, like 3 pages. Like, hey, let's just do a deal to work out for both. We both said things that we didn't mean, blah, blah, blah.
What did you say that you didn't mean? I don't know about this.
Like, the trade is like a bluff. It's like poker. Like, doing contracts is like poker. Oh, my player won't be here. He won't play, blah, blah, blah. You want to be traded, but, really, you want to be at home with your family, your loved ones, It's a difficult process.
So you write the letter to Jerry just saying...
Yeah, my agent wrote it.
Yeah.
You really wanted to be a Cowboy. You wanted to stay a Cowboy.
Yeah, for sure. At the time. Yeah, at the time. At the time I wrote this letter. And then when Jerry wrote us a letter back saying there will be no further negotiations, you either play on this 5th year option and play next Thursday night, because I think the Cowboys played the first Thursday night game, or Friday night, whatever it was, or accept the trade to the Green Bay Packers. And I was like, okay, this is where this relationship's at.
That's it. He made the decision for you.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, negotiate the contract.
He says something along the lines of negotiations is like poker. So Micah Parsons, being an inexperienced poker player, you gonna go in the same room and try to play poker with the gambler? I don't know about that. But he also said, we both said things that we didn't mean. I'm sorry, Cowboys Nation, but that sounds extremely personal to me. I can't fathom having players in the locker room that have dealt with Jerry Jones' negotiation tactics not telling Micah Parsons to keep it business and don't make it personal. Going to these games with Jerry, flying on Jerry's private plane, feeling like Jerry Jones' son? That's making it extremely personal when all Jerry was doing was grooming Micah Parsons to talk him into taking a team-friendly discount. At the end of the day, it's all business in the eyes of the gambler. Now let's go ahead and get into the third clip so we can come back and discuss it. Let's go.
Are you like me, Micah, where anytime somebody goes, look, it's either this or it's that, like, I'm out. Anytime somebody gives me an ultimatum, it never is going to work for that person.
Yeah, I would say for me, it was just like, as a guy who wanted to be a Cowboy, and I played through the injuries. I played when I had fevers. I mean, it's all in the reports. Like,
I got a fever, I got a fever right now.
I played the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like, it's just who I was. And I never missed practices. I never missed games besides my high ankle. And, like, I would have died out there on that field. And, for me, it was just like, damn, like, this is how you view me? Like, I'm just this easy to, so, and it wasn't even like where it was like you couldn't even like call me or like tell me, you email my agent, tell me I was traded, like, but you called me in your office before, like you didn't even
like
do
a son
it.
to me.
Yeah, like it was just so much fakeness going on where I was just like, damn, all right, bet, I'm out of here.
That's the second time like a son to me has been said during this interview. Well, during the clips that I've clipped for you. In the entire interview, it might have been said a little bit more. But I'm the same way, Cowboys Nation. I hate ultimatums to no end. I'm the type of guy that roots for the underdog, and I swim against the current. If I don't truly agree with what's being said, then I'm gonna swim against the current. But during this clip, like a son to me was mentioned again, like I said earlier. I'm sorry, Cowboys Nation, but I've never been like a son to someone without feeling like I had a personal relationship with said person. When mixing business with pleasure, there's always room for disaster. We'll talk about that more during the Raw and Uncut portion, so make sure you stick around for that. Now let's go ahead and jump into this last clip so we can hurry up and come back and unpack this Raw and Uncut.
Let me ask you something about your, negotiation. You are talking to Jerry, and then your agent steps in, and obviously he's looking out for your best interest. Do you think the Cowboys would be better off if they had a GM?
But that's the thing with an agent. They're also always looking out for their best interest. And it's tough as an artist, and I'll call you an artist for this conversation because it'll put us in the same boat. I don't know when my manager or agent are pushing it. Like, when is Barry Katz like in it for Barry Katz? When is Aaron Giannini in it for Aaron Giannini? Isn't that a weird feeling? Like, when there's this much money on the table, you're like,
Well, that's what I would say is different for agents. For football, well, any like athlete agent, right? Because their best interest is your best interest. I mean, they say they just want to make more money for you, which is stupid because that means they make more money. So they're always fighting for the right of the player.
There it is, Cowboys Nation. There it is, Micah Parsons. Jay Mohr hit the nail on the head with that question. When does the best interest of the agent stop? You know what? Let's go ahead and get into it, Cowboys Nation. Y'all ready for this Raw and Uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, Raw and Uncut.
Man, keeping it real. They keep it real. That's real.
All right, Cowboys Nation. I remember a few months back, I put a post up over on X about George Pickett's contract negotiations and hinted toward the question that Jay Mohr asked Micah Parsons and was looked at as if I had two heads or something. That's the thing with agents. They're always looking out for their best interests. When Barry Katz is in it for Barry Katz, and so on, Cowboys Nation. Micah Parsons said they just want to make more money, for which is stupid because if the player makes more money, then the agent makes more money. How is that stupid though, Micah Parsons? When I asked the question on X, people responded like I was saying that David Mulugeta was wanting to get the biggest bag for Micah Parsons so that he could get an even bigger bag for himself. And honestly, Cowboys Nation, they couldn't have been absolutely right. People responded to my post using lawyers as an example, saying that a lawyer's supposed to fight for their client to get the best possible outcome. I get that, Cowboys Nation, but there's also those examples when professionals go against the person or people that hire them and it ends up backfiring. For example, if a defendant feels in his heart that he's innocent, but his public defender talks him into taking a plea deal instead of going to trial, is that in the best interest of the defendant? Or a family taking their child to a neurologist for brain surgery. The doctor assigned is a doctor with 2 years experience in the field, but the family asks for a doctor who is seasoned. The seasoned doctor talks to the family into going with the 2-year doctor, and the operation goes south. I mean, I even have a personal experience with my wife. My wife had to have surgery on her bile duct every other year because it clogged up over time. I rushed her to the hospital in New York, and they got her prepped up. She told the doctor before the operation that she was allergic to nickel, so don't try putting a stent in her bile duct. When the operation was over and she was told that the doctor placed a stent in her, she asked if the stent contained nickel because she was hurting, and the doctor said, no, it doesn't have nickel in it. Well, she was discharged from that particular hospital, and on the way home, I had to rush her to another ER at a different hospital because she was having extreme pains in her bile duct. Well, the doctor that performed the surgery went against her wishes and inserted a stent in her bile duct, which caused excruciating pain. The current ER that my wife was in called the other hospital to ask if the stent that they put in her had nickel in it. Come to find out, it indeed had traces of nickel in it, and they had to perform another emergency surgery to take it out of her. Needless to say, the first doctor took it upon himself to go against her wishes in order to try something that eventually didn't work. This is what I mean with agents and their clients in the NFL. When does the agent actually listen to the client? When their client wants to remain with a particular team, is it the agent's job to talk them out of wanting to stay with said team, or is it to work with the team to make their client's dream a reality? And all I heard in that interview was how Micah Parsons had a personal relationship with Jerry Jones, how he would fly on his personal plane, how Jerry and him would go to games together, how Jerry and Micah went to the Super Bowl together. If that's not personal, then I don't know what is, Cowboys Nation. That's rule number 1 in business. Never mix business with pleasure, and Micah Parsons did just that. He fell for Jerry Jones's grooming tactics, and when it was time for Jerry to try and seal the deal, Micah came to his senses and finally wanted to involve his agent. That's after talking to Jerry about a particular number and particular guarantees for his contract. Why didn't he take the Des Bryant approach and tell Jerry Jones that he didn't know the first thing about negotiations and he would have to speak with his agent first? Why were specifics talked about for Jerry to come up with that type of contract that he did to be able to send it to David Mulugeta? But when the clip from the Mohr Stories podcast hit social media, people were up in arms. Some Cowboys fans were pissed while other Cowboys fans continued to defend Micah Parsons' stance. Me personally, I understand both sides. I could understand why people remained pissed off at the whole Micah Parsons situation while others defended him. The reason why some Cowboys fans were pissed is because from December until the draft, all they heard or read about was how Micah Parsons didn't want to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, that he wanted to retain players and bring players to the team, but when it came down to the come down, he was just prancing and dancing in front of the cameras. In all actuality, Micah did want to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, but he was telling the fans and Jerry something different. Y'all don't remember, Cowboys Nation? Let me go ahead and jog your memory real quick.
Does it matter to you to become the highest paid defensive player?
You know, you see a lot of times You know, highest paid, player, then we say they don't have weapons or, they don't have this. So I'd rather just be in the best situation. At that point, I don't think there's a big difference between 30 and 40 million in my eyes,
Is David going to have to understand that too?
My agent might be mad at me. I even said that. But, for me, bro, I've already been blessed enough, bro. Like, I can't complain too much in life.
3 days later.
Recorded a couple weeks ago said you didn't have to be the highest paid.
No, I don't.
But it would be nice.
It would just be nice to be surrounded by good players. Players that's going to help you win championships. I say that. $40 million and chipped every play and slid to with 3-4 people. I don't think that sounds too fun to me. I want to keep as many guys as possible.
So you telling Steven you don't need 40?
Nah, I don't need 40.
You know, huh?
I don't need 40. I don't need 40. I don't need 40. Yeah, I'm going to try to work with him as much as possible to attack free agency and try to, I want to be back with this team.
This is what Cowboys Nation heard. This is what got fans' hopes up. My thing is that if he didn't have any compunction to do this, why go in front of multiple cameras and say it? Why say that it wasn't personal on his end when this interview points it to be personal on his end? Micah Parsons said, "For me, it was like, damn, this is how you view me?" Or, "You couldn't have called me and tell me? You emailed my agent to say that I was traded, but you called me in your office before?" Or, "There was just some fakeness going on where I was just like, damn, all right, bet I'm out." I don't know about y'all, but that sounds extremely personal to me. Nevertheless, we heard from Jerry Jones' side, and now we've heard from Micah Parsons' side. One thing that I will say is that Cowboys fans will never know the truth about why Micah Parsons went back on his highest paid statement, because not one of them is keeping it 100 with the fan base. I loved Micah Parsons when he was a Dallas Cowboy. I rooted for Micah Parsons when he was a Dallas Cowboy. Even when other Cowboys fans would shit on him for his lack of effectiveness in the playoffs, I was a part of the group that was pumping the hashtags out trying to get him paid. That was also during the time where I thought he didn't want to be the highest paid player in the NFL. But at the end of the day, Micah Parsons got exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, and he got just that. Even though he said he wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy for life, the money seemed to be a little bit more important. And at the same time, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. I'm glad he stood up to Jerry Jones. I'm glad he didn't just back down from Jerry Jones. I just wish that he would have been that way from day one instead of leading Cowboys fans on as if he wanted to be here his entire career and he was willing to sacrifice in order to do so. At the end of the day, it was his choice to go to the Green Bay Packers. It was his choice to lay on the table during preseason. It was his choice to hold in during training camp, and it was ultimately his choice to request a trade. Even though his choice was swayed by his agent, the best agent in the world, according to him, David Mulageta. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. Cowboys Nation, what do you feel about what I had to say in this video? Have you taken the time to watch the Mohr Stories podcast interview of Micah Parsons? Y'all know how we do. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and you want to help the Angry Cowboys fan YouTube channel reach even more Dallas Cowboys, drop a like on this video, share it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and if you're on your mobile device and you haven't used them up yet, make sure you hype this video. Doing so could help get the content out to Cowboys fans. They'll come over to the Angry Cowboys fan YouTube channel and want to become Angry Cowboys fans themselves. And if you are DC for life, no matter who comes and goes from the Dallas Cowboys, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release another video, podcast episode, or film breakdowns. You can catch the Madden 26, College Football 26, or Mortal Kombat Conversation on my other YouTube channel, the Angry Gaming Fan YouTube channel. I'll make sure I put the link to that as well as the gamer tag in the description. Even Jay Mohr can see how there could be ulterior motives when it comes to an agent and securing the biggest bag for themselves. How this is such a hard concept to grasp for some people, I have no idea, Cowboys Nation. Just like the football player, the agent is going to do what they got to do in order to get the biggest payday for themselves. Remember, the owner or GM isn't the only one that they're negotiating with. Slick tongues not only get deals for their clients, they also convince clients that their way is the right way to go. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. I hope you're listening up, GP. And I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.